Let's talk about what they mean by change in sign. And they gave this example. Here you have a -2 and a 3. So as you go from -2 to 3, you've got a change. So I'll just mark it with a 1. And then you got positive and negative. That's another change. Negative to positive is another change. So you have 3 changes there. So that's what they're talking about. And we're trying to figure out in our sequence S of 1, S of 2, on up to S of n, is there an even number of changes? Even number of changes. So, clue 1. Clue 1 says S of k equals -1 to k. This just means you have an alternating series. Alternating sequence, excuse me. Because if you let k be 1, you get S of 1 equal -1 to 1, and that's -1. You get an odd exponent. S of 2, it's going to be -1 squared. That's going to be positive. S of 3, -1 cubed. It's -1. So you got -1, 1, -1. The problem is you don't know how many terms are in your sequence. If I've got 3 terms in my sequence, here's a change. And here's a change. Yeah, you got an even number of changes. But what if it's -1, 1, -1, 1? From here to here, that's a change. And that's a change. And that's a change. You got an odd number. So sometimes it's even number. That's when you got an odd number of numbers in your sequence. And in this case, you've got an odd number of changes because you had an even number of numbers in your sequence. So clue 1 does sometimes work, sometimes doesn't work, so overall does not work. And then what's 2 say? N is odd. Well, where is n? N is the number of numbers in your sequence. It doesn't tell me anything about my sequence, so I just know I've got an odd number. So maybe it's 1, -1, 1. Well, from here to here is a change. From here to here is a change. So that's 2. 2 changes. But remember, we don't know they alternate. We don't know that. So what if it was 1, 1, -1? Then that would be no change, 1 change. So it just depends on what your sequence is. So 2 does not work. Now put them both together. It's going to work. I've already said that once. Over here, you've got an odd number of, we know number 1, it alternates. And that's 3. 3 is odd. From here to here is a change. Positive to negative is another change. You got an even number of changes. And you could write out, you could go again, 1, -1. Here to here is a change. Here to here is a change. You got 4. It's even number of changes. So your answer is C.